Okay, real quick, I just want to add on to what I just did in that other video, because with this full circle thing, I just want to give you a quick example. So let's just say somebody that keeps getting in debt, right? So they're in debt and then they get out of debt, and then 2 years later, they're in the same situation and they're back in debt. Okay, that is a pattern that the Lord wants to break us from, because God says that we are supposed to be the lenders and not the borrowers. Okay, so that's just one example. For me, it's not fully believing in myself and what God has really put inside of me to be able to go after, which I know He's telling me to do in this season. So for me, it's like He's been testing me, right? And actually, I believe too, it's not just testing, it's like a chastisement. You know, the Lord will test us, but then the chastisement is a season where He will bring us where He has already tested us. We know better. And then we need to make the decision if we are going to walk in obedience to the level of which we know now, right? Because God says that we will be held accountable to the level of knowledge that we know. So this is important too. So the chastising is almost like it's a sharpening. It's like where God is like, you already know this. I've tested you in it before. I've brought you out of it, but now you're coming back around to it. Are you going to do the hard things that I'm telling you to do in order to break free from the strong man that keeps holding you back from what I've destined you to do? I hope that makes sense. And these are the things that you just need to be paying attention to. So check yourself if they're coming up. If whatever, it could be something little, even if you've been swearing, right? And you don't want to swear anymore, and you're like, and then like all of a sudden you start to get convicted in it, and it comes up quicker. Like the next time you're around people, they start swearing, and then you're like, ooh, man. And then you say it, and you're like, shoot, I didn't want to do that. It's like, those are the things that I'm talking about. These situations that God is bringing you to where they keep coming up quick, because He's not messing around anymore. We are in a season where it is like acceleration. He's doing things super fast. Like what took me however many years to break free from, I truly believe that people are breaking free within months, which took me years, but we are in a special Kairos season, an appointed time that God has for you and destined for you, because especially with the remnant, I'm like, there's a remnant of the church that will lead the way in the end times. And the remnant, I believe this is really who it's happening for. And if you don't know if you're a part of the remnant, you'll pay attention. Pay attention to the hell that you've been through in your life, and pay attention to the yearning that you want to be where you want to be with the Lord. Is there a deep, deep desire that you want to be closer to God, but you just don't know how to fully get there? But there's just this yearning. I'm telling you, my friend, start cutting off the things that you no longer need in your life. Start listening to the Lord, start walking into obedience, and watch how much He will begin to change you. It's not us. It's us taking the steps of obedience by being in His Word, by listening to worship music, by crying out to Him and saying, I want your will instead of my own. But then watch how He will miraculously start to change you, rewire your mind, give you a full new identity, give you a new name in Him, and He will walk out through you and in you powerfully. You cannot stay the same. I watched something the other day, and I think it was like, if you are a believer in Jesus or a follower. And if you're a believer, we can believe in Jesus all day long, but it's when we become a follower, when we follow what His Word says, when we follow His Holy Spirit, when we do what He tells us to do instead of pleasing man, that's when we start to change. We start to change from the inside out, and we become a follower of Him more so than man, more so than any other thing in this life. That is where we're at, my friends. So I hope this encourages you. I hope that you understand a little bit better. And part 2 to the full circle. All right, be blessed. No more going around the same mountain. Break free. This is your season. Love you guys. Bye.